Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development. We'll be starting session in a minute. Yeah. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is commemorated as World Habitat Day with the theme for 2024, Engaging Youth to Create a Better Urban Future. The global observance of World Habitat Day, marked on 7th October 2024, is under the theme Engaging Youth to Create a Better Urban Future. The event aims to address the challenges and opportunities of rapid urbanization by focusing on the active involvement of young people in shaping sustainable cities and communities. The observance focus on how we can engage the new generation in planning their urban present and future through participatory process and local leadership opportunities. Online registration ends on Saturday, 5th October 2024 at 6 p.m. for an event organized by United Nations on occasion of World Habitat. So those who are able to attend can attend. Various sessions on World Cities Day, that is 31st October 2024 in Egypt, Alexandria, and 12th session of the World Urban Forum, WEF 12, in Cairo, Egypt, from 4th to 8th November 2024. Second session of the Executive Board in 2021 in Nairobi, Kenya, 4th to 6th December 2024. And Intergovernmental Expert Working Group on Housing, 9th to 11th December 2024. 24. So you can attend any of these events if interested. And the world is also rapidly urbanizing, and many urban residents these days are young people, especially in some countries in Africa and Asia. Currently, youth in global south make up to 70% or more of cities. By 2050, cities are projected and host approximately 80% of the world's population, highlighting the pressing need for inclusive urban planning and sustainable development. Despite the global efforts, the United Nations acknowledge persistent challenges in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals, especially in the areas of poverty, inequality, and looming threat of climate change. These and other issues pose significant obstacles of the equitable growth and resilience of urban areas worldwide. Mobilizing support from all segments of the society is crucial, with a particular emphasis on engaging the youth, empowering youth, and involving them in urban decision making is essential for developing inclusive and resilient societies. By harnessing the energy, creativity, and perspectives of youth, cities can work towards more sustainable and equitable development, ensuring a brighter future for all. So, World Habitat Day presents a unique opportunity to celebrate the contributions of youth to sustainable urbanization while addressing the challenges of rapid urban growth. The UN Habitat, the United Nations agency focusing on sustainable urbanization, is awarding its prestigious 2024 Scroll of Honor Award. Nominations closed on 17th May 2024 and 5 winners were selected. The winners will receive their awards at the Global Observance of World Habitat Day in Querétaro City, Mexico on 7th October 2024. So the United Nations designated the first Monday of October of every year as World Habitat Day to reflect on the state of our habitats and on the basic right of all to adequate shelter. This day is also intended to remind the world that we will have the power and responsibility to shape the future of our cities and towns. In 1985, the United Nations designated the first Monday of October every year as World Habitat Day. The idea is to reflect on the state of our towns and cities and the basic right of all to adequate shelter. It is intended to remind the world of its collective responsibility for the future of the human habitat. So, Worldwide Habitat Day was first celebrated in 1986 with the theme Shelter is My Right. Nairobi was the host city for observance that year. Other previous themes have included Shelter for the Homeless 1987, New York Shelter and Urbanization 1990, London Future Cities 1997, Born Safer Cities 1998, Dubai, Women in Urban Governance 2000, Jamaica, Cities Without Sins 2000, Cities Without Slums 2001, Fukuoka, Water and Sanitation for Cities 2003, Rio de Janeiro, Planning Our Urban Future 2009, Washington, D.C., Better City, Better Life 2010, Shanghai, China, and the Cities and Climate Change 2011, Aguascalientes, Mexico, are the various themes celebrated since 1986. The UN Habitat Scroll of Honor Award was launched by the United Nations Settlements Program in 1989. It is currently the most prestigious human settlements awards in the world. The Scroll of Honor Award aims to acknowledge initiatives which may have outstanding contributions in various fields such as shelter provision, providing adequate, affordable, and accessible housing, highlighting the plight of the homeless, leadership in post conflict reconstruction, and developing and improving the human settlements and quality of urban life. And the Scroll of Honor Award recognizes both individuals and institutions that made outstanding contributions of urban development. Cities are responsible for 70% of global carbon dioxide emissions, with transport, buildings, energy, and waste management accounting for the bulk of urban emissions. By 2050, two-thirds of our global population will live in urban areas. Nearly 90% of the growth in urban population will occur in Asia and Africa, accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world. UNDP climate features the fifth Malaysian cities taking an integrated approach to low carbon development. The strategic plan 2020 to 2023 repositions UN Habitat as a major global entity, a center of excellence and innovation. In that respect, the organization is refocusing its niche as thought leader and go-to program for issues pertaining its work, setting the global discourse and agenda on sustainable urban development, dividing, driving political discussion, generating specialized and cutting-edge knowledge, shaping technical norms, principles, and standards, and acting as a multiplier in exchange of knowledge, experience, and best practice in getting cities and other human settlements right. The energy-intensive building sector alone accounts for 39% of global carbon emissions. In the light of this, a fundamental transformation is the only option for the sector to become eco-responsible. Innovative technologies, the role of recycling in the built environment, the use of natural materials and construction techniques adapted to local conditions are some of the paths to be explored in the quest for more sustainable architecture. From the issue future building towards a sustainable habitat, which is published in 2024 by UNESCO, which has 49 pages. You can go through the UNESCO Courier, which is released, which is for January to March 2024, released in today is also commemorated as World Cotton Day. With the theme Weaving a Better Future for Cotton, a single ton of cotton provides year-round employment for 5 people on average. Often in some of the most impoverished regions, cotton-based filaments are appealing to 3D printers because they conduct heat well, become stronger when wet, and are more scalable than materials like wood. Cotton-based filaments are appealing, and in addition to its fiber used in textiles and apparel, food products can be derived from cotton, such as edible oil and animal feed from the seed. Dreaming a better future for cotton, cotton is one of the most common fabrics in our wardrobes. It is comfortable, hypoallergenic, breathable, and durable. But cotton represents so much more than just a commodity. This natural fabric is a life changing product worldwide that sustains 32 million growers. Almost half of them are women and benefits over 100 million families across 80 countries in 5 continents. This means that behind any cotton clothing, following back its trade chain, there is a personal story. It is true that cotton is really important to developing economies, but for least developed and developing countries, it is a safety net. Cotton is a major source of livelihoods and incomes for many rural smallholders and laborers, including women, providing employment and income to some of the poorest rural areas in the world. On the fourth official UN World Cotton Day, the United Nations want to raise visibility of the cotton sector and awareness of the critical role that it plays in economic development, international trade, and poverty alleviation. This observance also aims to highlight the importance of sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. UN World Cotton Day will be celebrated for the first time in African continent. Over 400 attendees shared the ideas on enhancing the benefits impact of cotton, the world's most important natural fiber. The celebration also highlighted the importance of sustained economic growth, inclusive and sustainable industrial development, fair trade practices, and decent work for all. World Cotton Day is an idea that started thanks to the Cotton Four. The initiative of World Cotton Day was born in 2019 when 4 cotton producers in sub Saharan Africa, Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad, and Mali, known as the Cotton Four, proposed the World Trade Organization a Cotton Day celebration on October 7th. During 2 consecutive years, the date offered an opportunity to share knowledge and showcase cotton related activities. Now that the United Nations has officially recognized this Cotton Day, this great opportunity creates awareness of the need of market access for cotton and cotton related products from least developed countries, fosters sustainable trade policies, and enables developing countries to benefit more from every step of the cotton value chain. The rules-based, non-discriminatory, open, fair, inclusive, predictable, and transparent international cotton trading system is key to livelihood to hundreds of millions of vulnerable people around the globe. Besides, greater investments are needed to expand the sector beyond raw cotton production and create new income opportunities, especially for families, farmers, by adding more value to cotton fiber and developing products from other parts of the cotton plant. UN agencies have worked years towards the mission. For instance, the International Trade Center, ITC, and the World Trade Organization have helped CIFO to optimize production and improve local processing capacity, as well as to discuss the trade reforms needed to address high trade barriers and inequalities for cotton producers in developing countries. These efforts date back to 2003 through the Cotton Initiative. Another UN agency, FAO, has long offered developing countries technical and policy support for boosting productivity and creating more opportunities in the cotton value chain. As an example, the Plus Cotton Project, a cooperation initiative with Brazil, another leader in an industry that helps Latin American producers to introduce innocent farming methods. So cotton portal, which is a website that provides a single entry point for all the cotton specific information on market access, trade statistics, country specific business contacts, and development assistance related information, as well as links to relevant documents and web pages. It also provides links to other organizations active on cotton. Plus Cotton, a project to share solutions. South American countries that rely heavily on cotton have suffered a decrease in production, affecting the income of thousands of farming families. The initiative Plus Cotton, led by FAO, the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, and other local partners, hopes to counter the working and with farmers across even countries in South America. The initiative encourages collaboration and the sharing of innovative farming methods. Let's watch a short video.
From field to fabric, the familiar touch of cotton is woven into our lives. Cotton is one of the oldest natural fibers. It is the thread connecting civilizations. Cotton's importance extends far beyond apparel. Worth billions, the cotton industry sustains 100 million families in almost 80 countries. Low-income countries earn much-needed revenues from cotton exports, and nearly half of the world's 32 million cotton farmers are women. Consumers appreciate cotton's natural properties. But as demand grows, cotton faces uncertainties. Climate change, unstable prices, and global economic shocks are all impacting the sector. Currently, 20% of cotton is being sustainably produced, but the sector is determined to adapt. The focus is on transforming parts of the plant into high-value products like fuel, food, and fertilizer. We must foster sustainable growth by harnessing the power of science, innovation, and technology. Improving cotton's performance as a fibre to meet consumers' evolving demand. Creating jobs for young people and weaving a bright path into the future. World Cotton Day celebrates this precious resource. For better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life, leaving no one behind.
Dok nga jugu ne mami ne fɛnɛ ma se ka na sunɔgɔ bɛrɛ kɛ fo ne ka fura ta.
Les chiffres indiquent que nous avons quelques 2 millions d'enfants de la fourchette 5 à 14 ans qui sont encore soumis au travail des enfants. Le gouvernement a tout un arsenal en termes de mesures administratives qui sont prises. Les législateurs ont mis en place également des textes clairs sur la régulation.
Nafasɔrɔ sira minnu bɛ yen ni musow bɛ se ka baara k'o sira fɛ an bɛ sɛnɛkɛlaw jɔyɔrɔma don o fana baaraw sigili la sen. Wala n ko fɛn min bɛ komi n'a fɔ nafasɔrɔ sira misɛnnin minnu bɛ se ka kɛ sɛnɛ senkɔrɔ an bɛ musow jɔyɔrɔma don olu fana baara kɛli la donc olu bɛ se o kɛko ɲuman na quoi. Bon projet in ye jɔyɔrɔba ta n'i y'a lajɛ n da sera kalanforonin minnu yɔrɔ ma n'o ye CAP ninnu ye o kalanforonin ninnu kɔnɔ n y'a f'i ɲɛna ko anw bɛ kalanforonin ninnu bila sen ka sɛnɛkɛlaw dege sɛnɛ taabolo ɲuman na. N'i ko sɛnɛ taabolo ɲuman fɛn caman de b'a kɔnɔ sɛnɛ yɛrɛ kɛcogo b'a la bon an da sera denmisɛnninw ka baarako yɛrɛ min ma baara dɔw bɛ o kɛcogo yɛrɛ o ye kɔlɔlɔ ye denmisɛnninw ma.
Awɔ a ka di n ye n ka waati jan kɛ ekɔli la parce que don dɔ la ta ne yɛrɛ bɛ se ka n ka denmisɛnninw kalan.
sagamuso 5 sagamuso 1 ka tila ka u ka dumuni di yɔrɔ o ye foli ye dɛ ka tila ka dumuni di min ye turuto ye ka tila ka turuto di o tɛ dɛmɛ dan ye n b'o foli kɛ perezida fawo mɔgɔw ma an b'o fo k'o waleɲuman dɔn ka fɛn d'i ma a tila ka dumuni d'i ma n'i tɛ mɔgɔ dɔ ye a kan ka jija o fɛn fɛn kɔni.
perezida fawo a pare wala ɲum na kan jɔ ka mutuma ba ta ba pena du hugu ba kal hugu yala.
C'est un mot de remerciement, tout d'abord aux communautés, dans les 5 communes où on a travaillé, aux autorités territoriales dans les 2 régions qui n'ont ménagé aucun effort pour soutenir ce projet. Remerciements à l'État à travers les différents départements ministériels qui ont soutenu ce projet et dont les bureaux au niveau régional ont également soutenu toutes ces activités sur le terrain. Bien entendu, soutenir et remercier le partenaire stratégique qui est l'Union européenne et nos collègues du Bureau international du travail pour vraiment cet arrangement qui a été un excellent cas qu'on a pu développer d'école de ce qu'on peut faire quand on met en commun nos expertises, nos moyens et bien entendu la bonne volonté.
Projet Faoma, Mofo d'Andé Folemina quoi. Folie quoi, dans la foule ne vole quoi. Mais dans la folie, vous le n'avez folie, mais que l'on a folie, mais je n'ai pas folie. Mafo, au Walmando, au Mafo.
This week is also commemorated as Active Aging Week. and various other weekly commemorations are being taken up today. Apart from today, is also World Architecture Day. Which is commemorated every year on October 7th. That is on first Monday of October. Every year, that is October 7th this year. To appreciate great architectural works of the ancient and modern worlds and the super brilliant people who designed it. Also stay updated with the real estate transformation through architectural engineering from top real estate journalists and journals. Can you believe that great temples in India and in the world and great pyramids, which were built over thousands of years ago, are the magnificent wonders still standing today? We can only imagine the brilliance of Egyptian architects in the West and the engineering involved. But imagine the complex structures in Indian temples and temples across the world, how difficult it would be. If the Egyptian pyramids are so difficult, imagine the kind of difficulty involved in constructing temples with so much sculpture and design, architecture involved. Architecture is not just limited to buildings, but encompasses every aspect of human life and is essential to our development as a race. The history of architecture is the history of humankind. They are interlinked with successive changes. In architecture comes development in our culture, tradition, commerce, technology, and intellectuality. The first architecture of renown is the Neolithic period, which was between 10,000 and 2000 BC. The structures of this era were usually rectangular and dwellings were built independently of each other. So we'll be discussing more in Western context, as these are, mostly Western commemorations started in the West. So the Neolithic architecture was made of stone, tree trunks, reeds, clay, and thick timber posts. This type of architecture could be found in South and Southwest Asia and most of the Europe. Stonehenge is a famous architectural structure from that era. The next architecture era of the note was period of antiquity, when some of the world's greatest and most revered architectures were made. The first notable architecture of this era is the Ziggurat of Ur, a Mesopotamian structure dedicated to god Marduk. This was followed by ancient Egyptian architecture, from the Pyramid of Djoser, built in the 3rd dynasty, to the Giza pyramids in the 4th dynasty. The classical period saw the rise of ancient Greece and the Roman architecture, which dominated architectural styles for centuries. Ancient Greek architecture was designed for the people to enable thriving society. Grecian architecture includes the Parthenian and the Athenian. Roman architecture was most advanced for its time, and its influence was felt as far as North Africa. Ancient Romans were also known for innovations such as domes, baths, aqueducts, and rounded stone arches. The Pantheon and the Colosseum are the most important pieces of architecture from the Roman period that we have today. The Romanesque, Gothic Renaissance, and Neo-Gothic architecture and followed saw prominent structures such as Durham Cathedral, Lund Cathedral, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Notre Dame de Paris, the Demis Cathedral, and the Florence Cathedral. The modern architecture era began in the early 20th century, ushered in by Nouveau's architectural style. It saw architectural styles such as Art Deco, Empire State Building, and Chrysler Building, Expressionism, Einstein Tower, and the Lotus Temple, and the Internationalism, the Seagram Building, and the Equitable Building, and so on. Postmodernism is an architectural style that is quickly gaining acceptance in the 21st century. of which Team Disney Building and the Dancing House are examples. 3D printing and sustainable architecture are styles predicted to dominate the architecture scenes for years. In 1985, the International Union of Architects created World Architect Day to remind the world and its responsibility for the future of human habitat. The day perfectly coincides with World Habitat Day. Each year, various architecture associations and organizations organize World Architecture Day events aligned to the theme announced by the International Union of Architects. You can check your area for these events or search the internet or attend an online events like this. A prominent World Architecture Day event happens yearly in the Union of Architects World Architecture Day conferences. Stay updated on UIA website for their upcoming events. Why not spend World Architecture Day visiting some of the most iconic architectural buildings in the country to appreciate the works of American ingenuity? You can take tour of Alabama State Capitol, the Elysian West, Walt Disney Concert Hall, and the Grand Opera House. You can use World Architecture Day to educate people on the history of architecture. We earlier shared an overview of the history of architecture. You can deepen your knowledge by doing personal research. So you can use World Architecture Day to educate people on the history of architecture. And we earlier shared an overview of the history of architecture. You can deepen your knowledge by doing personal research and possibly talking to an architect friend. If you have one, then share your learnings with pictures of any social media images. The ancient Roman architecture was the first to be built with concrete made from mortar, lime, peperino, broken bricks, marble, and lumps of tufa. The dome of Pantheon, built in 125 AD and weighing 4,535 metric tons, remains the largest dome that stands without external support. The ancient Romans transformed the feeble ancient Egyptians, Babylonians, and Greeks' arches and vaults into sturdy structures that became aqueducts and bridges. The ancient Romans invented the first underfloor heating system used in baths and heating in public buildings. Ancient Roman architecture was of high quality and designed for last for ages. That is why Sorry for the technical issue. So today, we are also commemorating this International Day of Peace Communication, which is observed all across the world. This day aims to encourage individuals, governments to solve conflict without resorting to any kind of aggression. On this day, people across the globe focus on communicating in any way that promotes peaceful dialogue as well as peaceful outcomes. This can prove useful, especially in situations that have for so long been subjected to violence. With peaceful talks and open mind, almost any conflict can come to an end. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.